I grew to become a conscientious objector.
So you're saying that because the recruiter didn't say the possibility existed that there might be something like this? I mean, that when you go to the automobile dealer, does he say there's the possibility that if you drive this thing wrong, you can wrap it around a tree and kill yourself? I mean, do you expect the recruiter to say you might die in a war?
No, I'm not going to say that. I expected them to be a little bit more honest about what participation in the military actually meant. And, you know, at the time, like I said, I have been educated, and, you know, it's a personal and moral and ethical issue with me at the time.
You've been in how long, Stephanie?
I've been in for 6 years.
You've been in 6 years. Is your enlistment up?
My official contract doesn't end for 2 more years. My active duty reserve time was supposed to end September 24th of this year.
Your legal status at this point is what? Absent without leave?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So in the eyes of the military, not passing judgment on you, we have somebody to do that, but in the eyes of the military, you're a criminal.
In their eyes.
Accused.
Accused.
So says Patrick Colclough. He's kind of in the same situation. A year at St. Lawrence University, you were involved in ROTC.
Yes, 2 years.
Okay. Signed up for ROTC. I'm presuming that you used the money from ROTC to help you with tuition, books, all the rest. And you started to smell the winds of war coming when?
It was my second year in the program, spring of '89.
So this is long before Operation
Yes.
Desert Shield.
Yes.
And what turned you off to it?
For me, it started with the insensitive attitudes. You had people in my command telling us things that I couldn't believe in. You know, they're trying to justify the Star Wars program and how many American lives would be saved with no concern for other lives. You know, just little things that started triggering.
So you quit going to drills in February of this year.
Right.
Again before Operation Desert Shield. ROTC will bring you up on charges of willful evasion, and if you're found guilty, the punishment is 3 years activation.
He was in face charges a court-martial for desertion or AWOL.
You are against all war or this war?
No, all war.
So if Saddam Hussein bombed New York, you still would object
to?
Yes,
I can't participate. I don't know what my political stance would be in that situation, but I cannot personally participate in war, period.
Yeah. However, you did sign a contract?
Yes, I did.
You took an oath?
Oh, I did. With all good intentions when I joined.
Did you accept the money?
Yes, I did. But for me, it's not. I'm willing to pay back the money. It's not a financial question.
Okay. Here is Todd Ensign. He is an attorney by profession. He is also the author of a book that addresses the subject of military life, The Insider's Guide. He is with a group called Citizen Soldier. It's a nonprofit GI rights advocacy organization that was born out of the strife that surrounded the Vietnam War. I'm hearing the same things I heard 15, 20 years ago.
Well, I'm afraid you're right, Wally, and we are too. I'm really afraid that this country is forgetting the lessons of that war. You know, we passed a law in the 70s called the War Powers Act, which is supposed to give Congress a formal role whenever the military gets involved somewhere in the world. As you know, that has been completely ignored. Then today we're told we're going to send another 100,000 troops over there. And another part of the story, in the Philadelphia Inquirer, it says that actually the Americans don't expect most other Allied forces to go in if we invade Iraq. So you kind of left with the impression that the other units, the Germans and the French and the other forces there, are not going to even fight if we go in. And I'm just afraid we're heading towards a disaster, and another tens of thousands of young American lives are lost. I know people have strong feelings about Saddam Hussein. My question, of course, would be, where were these feelings before August 2nd? I mean, he used chemical warfare and weapons against the Iranians and other Kurdish people. Silent. Reagan signed them up for more grain shipments.
Okay, now we add to the mix the voice that says what many other people would say at home right now. He is the very proud 38-year Marine veteran, Colonel Ernest Bright, retired USMC, retired as a full-bird captain. Listen to these individuals and you say that. How?
When it was good enough for this young lady to take the money, the check she got, wore the suit, went on maneuvers, possibly looking for pension, milking the system for her convenience, when it wasn't to her liking, to go things good. This young man said he's on Roxy. Fine, no problem. He's offered you have 2 years to serve. I don't know what they're going to do with you, and in all probability, nothing will happen to you. You'll just be put out on the...
What should they do? What should they do, in your opinion, sir?
Well, I'm a combat officer, and we've got to work as a team, and I can't have individuals. And we've got to have that consolidation that keeps us going, and if one kicks off in their own direction, it's going to destroy my unity. So therefore, it's up to her commanding officer what they do with her. I would personally just discharge her. You'll have to straighten yourself out. The young man here offers to pay back. Took the money. He's willing to pay it back. I would discharge him from ROTC.
Dishonorable?
Other than honorable conditions.
Now,
they don't rate honorable discharge.
But the point, sir, needs to be made that if you discharge somebody, they get a dishonorable discharge, it's something that comes back to haunt them for the rest of their life.
They created the incident. We didn't.
Conscientious objection is honorable discharge.
They're going to give it to you other than honorable conditions.
Okay.
I would hope not.
A person who's a conscientious objector, if the military finds they're sincere, will receive an honorable discharge in both cases.
We'll break. Believe me, there's more to this, and we will get into it as AM Philadelphia continues. Don't go away.
New Jersey faces tough environmental challenges. We have a lot to protect. Our Congressman Jim Saxton's been a leader in the fight to clean up and protect the environment. He led the way in Congress for the ocean dumping law, which now bans plastics dumping, and the tough law that traces medical wastes. And Jim Saxton's won wide praise for creating an environmental institute, a bold plan to find innovative ways. Jim Saxton, an environmental record second to none.
I wish I could make the world as perfect as Justin draws it, but I can only do what I can. Like giving her a better juice, made from oranges picked and squeezed within a day. Well, that's the idea behind Citrus Hill Fresh Choice. Because an orange picked today is fresher than one that's sat around for a couple of days. It's nice to turn one wish into reality for my kids.
New Citrus Hill Fresh Choice. Squeeze the day we pick it, fresher the day you pour it. Also available with more juicy bits of orange. New Citrus Hill Classic Style.
Repeat call automatically. As a busy number. Happy birthday. The line is free. Happy birthday to you. Wish I could be there today. But I love you. Pick it up. Happy birthday. Dollar line is repeat call. Call now.
Well, anybody who has a question in their mind as to whether or not they're going to be approved for a second mortgage loan should give us a call. Because they had a greater chance of getting approved here at Champion than any other company. There's so much for an applicant about preparation. Their business to say yes as often as possible. And I think we accomplish that. When your bank says no, Champion says yes.
Roughly half of you give to United Way, but without the other half, we can't give all the help that's so desperately needed. So this year, please give generously.
Welcome back to AM Philadelphia. 3 who say, let's take a real serious look at what we're doing in the Middle East. 2 who say, even though they held their hand up, took the oath, took the money, they are not going. Because of their conscience. A colonel, 38-year Marine Corps veteran, who says, wait a minute, since when do we get to pick our wars, huh?
Well, I would just like to know one thing, and consider this in your opinion. Many career military officers were very disturbed by the Vietnam War, the effect on the military, the whole failure to define a mission, all those problems. And of course, I draw a strong analogy to what we're doing today. Presidential war, no involvement of Congress, rushing ahead. Even our allies aren't really with us, as I just mentioned. Are you concerned about having another Vietnam-style war that unravels not just the society, but the military as well?
I have great reservations on the fact that the Syrians and the Egyptians say that unless they're attacked, if we're going to be there together, and we have our troops there, and we have 13,000 Marines sitting there, I'm concerned that we operate as a team. And I truly have great reservations about only of their attack will they fight, while we've got over 160,000 troops there and possibly 100,000 more. I do have concern about that. I don't think it will be a major problem. I think that will be straightened out.
But what about this business of picking our wars? Was there ever a war? Was Patrick, was World War II a legitimate war? Given what you know about World War II, would you have fought in World War II?
No, I would not.
You would not have fought in World War II.
I have a problem. Why would you join Rocky in the first place?
At that point, no, I joined with good intentions. If I were ordered to serve when I first started the program, I would, with all good intentions. I have changed. I have seen the reality. It took a year and a half for me to do it, but I've seen a different reality, and I cannot participate. Ethically, I cannot participate any longer. And there's a former Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Richard Nixon, who said, as soldiers, we are first citizens and then soldiers, and I feel that I have to do what's right for me.
You have the right to make any decisions any of you wish, but I think in this government, and since you're in the lawyers here, that if you break the law, you have the right to suffer the penalty.
I haven't,
and that's the way this government does.
Okay, but here's one who, in the eyes of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, has broken the law. Yes? Yes.
The Army says I have broken law. I'm following my conscience. I have a responsibility to my conscience, and you know, jail is a short-term thing. My conscience is for the rest of my life. I have to deal with the fact that I could not take another human being's life, and I cannot participate in something that I believe is wrong for everyone, not just for me, but for the rest of the world. How would you feel if a
member of your reserve unit was killed over there?
I would feel very bad. I'm very concerned for the members of my unit. I am very concerned. I wish that none of them would have won. I'm very concerned for all the troops. I think that none of them should be there.
There is this feeling, Colonel, and you got to help a lot of people out here, that we're sending a couple 100,000 troops over there. We're fighting Saddam Hussein, who George Bush has increasingly labeled as Hitler. That we have a budget deficit that is a joke. We have a Congress that can't get along with the president. What the solution to that is? We have the president's own son up to his eyeballs in an S&L crisis. The country domestically has a huge, huge problem, and that this Operation Desert Shield, protecting us from this awful Hitler of the 1990s, is nothing more than a smokescreen for George Bush's incompetency as a president.
You've left out something very important.
What?
Had we not stopped him at Kuwait, the intentions as shown by some of his maneuvering and massing of troops would have been to continue on through Saudi Arabia, taken over the Emirates, and then created an economic crisis throughout the world that he would control who works and who doesn't.
I paid $1.75 a gallon the other day for gas.
We've had gas so cheap for years. How about what Europe pays? We're spoiled.
That's right.
We've done everything our way.
Well, you know, one of the things that Jimmy Carter did, and one of the few maybe, was try to create a different fuel policy in this country. And if we today, this is a fact, had each car capable of 35 miles per gallon, we would not need a single barrel of imported oil.
No, wait a minute. Okay, and God bless America, and let's wave the flag for fuel-efficient cars and all that. You're getting off the issue. The issue is, are these people in a position to be able to select the wars they will and will not fight in, sir?
Yeah, I think they are. I think they are. They have, people have to, I mean, at least since the Nuremberg tribunals after World War II, you know, when many German officers and other civilians came forward and said, I only did what was under what I was ordered to do. And our country and other countries together said, no, we stand in judgment. You cannot use that as an argument.
Colonel,
so people now do have a responsibility.
Colonel, do you think that Vietnam has taken this country and morale in the military and any military esprit de corps and ruined it for the rest of the generation? Not at all.
What is this? I think you selectively pick these people from their point of view. Strangely enough, there's many that think the way I do.
There are also
let the record show that's true.
Yes, there's a movement. We're just two of many people.
Yes,
there are movements across the country. Last weekend you had rallies in 13
Isn't it amazing they were all held on the same day in organized fashion? How did they come out of the woodwork when these things began?
You need organizations
to
mobilize the masses. You should know from the military staff.
Do you buy the concept, however, my friend, that this is a country that offers to its individuals with all its warts an enormous amount of opportunity, and somehow, some way, we must pay back to keep it that way.
Certainly, but I feel that way, but I don't feel that the people over there need to be doing that. I don't feel that we should be, or anyone from our generation should be called to fight for big business, for the rich, you know?
And Colonel, finally, you say?
Well, that's a cop-out. Everything is big business. You're going to be big business. The lawyer represents big business. It goes on and on. Okay. But you use it to your own convenience.
My thanks to one and all. Obviously, nobody's going to agree here, but we thank them for expressing their opinion. As AM Philadelphia continues, please stay tuned.
I can't dislike him for who he is, but definitely for what he is.
How does a straight man feel when a gay man gets close to his girlfriend?
Oh, I think it's wrong.
I am not a threat to Joe. I have no interest in Annette or other women sexually.
Why do some straight women prefer to be with gay men?
He's exciting, he's emotionally fulfilling. And people assume there's something wrong with the woman.
Straight women, gay men on the next Oprah Winfrey Show.
Oprah today at 4, followed by Action News at 5 on Channel 6.
Here at Graduate Health System, we asked people what they wanted in a physician referral service.
I want to know the doctor's qualifications.
I want a doctor that's close to me.
Can you give me directions? We listened. Then we designed a referral service that tells you everything you need to know.
They treated me like a friend.
And in just a few minutes, I had a doctor.
Graduate Health System is Rancocas and Thorbrook hospitals in South Jersey, and Mount Sinai and Graduate Hospitals in Philadelphia. So call us at 1-800-654-GRAD.
They had high hopes. They had high hopes.
Every week, an average of 25,000 people like you win the Pennsylvania Lottery's wild card lottery. Lots of prizes and jackpots of $1 million or more.
Look, there goes another.
Wild card lotto. The next winner could be you.
Another winner.
The Indians called it Light on the Mountain. We know it as Idaho. There's no other place on earth with crystal clear water, rich volcanic soil, warm days and cool nights work together to make such perfect, superb tasting potatoes. Idaho, the only Idaho potatoes are grown.
Genuine Idaho potatoes available at Shop and Bag.
Has a drinking problem. You may have tried it all. And when you think there's nothing else you can do, there is. Get through to us. We'll help you get through to them. Just don't give up.
Welcome back. Now that the first blast of winter-like weather has hit the Delaware Valley, we decided this would be a good time to revisit the warm and sunny island of Bermuda. Take a look. Welcome to beautiful Bermuda, where crystal blue waves crash against pink coral beaches and tropical flowers decorate candy-colored houses. It's appropriate we arrive at this 22-mile-long paradise off the coast of the Carolinas by ship, because it was a shipwrecked sailor who discovered Bermuda back in 1609. He and his crew spent a year on the island repairing their for deliverance. When it was time to leave, half of the crew stayed behind in St. George, Bermuda's first capital. Well.
To the moat
One thing we found up here, the people are really polite and manly and friendly. And people were, men were giving us this
Bermuda has many sights and customs that we just don't see at home. The best way to catch them all, and once you get used to driving on the left side of the road, is to rent a moped. They're popular because gas costs more than $4 a gallon, and because no one on the island can buy or drive a used or junked-up car. After you've toured St. George and walked on the beach, you may want to tee off at one of Bermuda's 9 golf courses. Then it's off to the island's biggest city, Hamilton. Tourists head for Front Street, a shopper's paradise. But Hamilton's also an international business center with no personal income tax and liberal banking laws, along with a distinctive style all its own. Here, businesswomen in dresses ride their mopeds to work, and businessmen wear their trademark Bermuda shorts. You know, the first pair was sewn right here at Trimmingham Brothers about a century ago. And please, don't confuse those tourist walking shorts with a genuine article.
They're technically quite differently cut than a pair of cut-off pants. They have a very deep hem. They have a 3-inch hem in them, which makes them hang better, or hang properly. And that really is the easiest way from a distance to see whether they're genuine or not. You always wear a pair of Bermuda-length socks and a blue blazer or any jacket you like, shirt and tie. It's all pretty much the same, except for the shorts and the long socks.
Unfortunately, Bermuda shorts do not a Bermudian make. If you want to live here, you have to be either very rich or very lucky, like former Philadelphian Louise Jackson.
Well, I was asked by the head of the department of my university to come to Bermuda and start a physical education program for girls at the Barclay Institute. They didn't have any trained physical education teachers then, and I had this marvelous offer, so I accepted it. It was a one-year contract, and I've been here for 38 years.
Louise has been able to stay because she met, fell in love with, and married a fellow teacher, Albert Jackson, who went on to become the president of Bermuda's Senate. The Jacksons have a magnificent home overlooking Hamilton and the ocean.
Every morning and look out over this wonderful ocean, this sea view that we have, and just marvel that I can actually do that. Wake up every morning and see it. It's the most beautiful place in the world.
Foreigners can only
residential buildings not of such value because it is important as much as possible maximum amount of land space and residential space for our own people.
A final note about homes in Bermuda. All have roofs made of Bermuda stone washed with lime. The roofs collect and filter rainwater, which is stored in giant cisterns in their basement. And that's where Bermudians get all of their household water.
All of that while the frost is in the pumpkin up here. Remember, coming up this week, we're also going to give you all the details about how you can send a holiday greeting card to our troops in Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, here's another message from one of those troops, Dr. Carlos Haas Weston from Allentown.
For my wife, Mina, and for my daughter, Tatiana, and my son, Carlos, and my son, Guillermo, all of them, I love you very much. Don't forget us and write us.
Richard Gere is earning his wings the hard way.
You ready to quit now, Mayo? No, sir.
It's up to Louis Gossett Jr. to make him an offer.
I got nowhere else to go!
And up to Deborah Winger with
Love you.
and Oscar with Louis Gossett Jr. in an episode of Jeopardy. Saturday night. $10 movie station, Channel 6. One's just custom eyeglasses in the bottle mean exceptional quality. Baptist. Custom crafted in bottle.
And Duncan Hines brownies plus double sauce. The only one with a packet of thick, rich fudge, not syrup. Watch fudge rich batter. Fudge because Duncan Hines brownies.
Love. What does it all mean? It's natural. With no cholesterol. seasoned dogs are looking for a loving home. And if you'd like to adopt one, please name the
Dr. Stephen Susimon will give engaged couples compatibility hold that thought about getting a home, a creature, and all that. And also you're going to do a haunted house. Remember, I went to haunted houses in Alaska. You know, there are a lot of that. How can we get the Bahamas and you have to do that? Who thinks that's good?
Vancouver, which is now north, to see what they do in British Columbia, and we did go to where it is the first every day of the year. We went to Alaska, and there was an Alaskan man that got 30,000 phone calls on Oprah. We were going to meet those Alaskan men who are looking for brides where they live. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. Meanwhile, when we see you tomorrow, we're going to go what we talked about.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
New Cool Whip Whip Topping. The luscious taste of whipped cream with 1 fat and only 8 calories per serving. The new Cool Whip Lies.
Sure, Quaker Natural tastes great for breakfast, but I can't always wait till breakfast.
Don't wait for the taste of Quaker Natural. It tastes too good for breakfast alone. Swirl it in yogurt, rub it on fruit, top it on top of it, sweet cone.
Quaker 100% natural. How can you wait for all those crunchy clusters of oats and honey, almonds and raisins?
I can't.
Don't wait for the taste of Quaker Natural.
In just a few brief hours of playtime, the human body produces the highest vitamins, magnesium, vitamin B6, all of which, as nature would have it, can be replaced by eating one Chiquita banana. It's the ideal way to nourish an imagination. Chiquita, quite possibly the world.
Parents, teach your kids that recycling trash is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Teach your kids to recycle.